Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program Africa Today. In today's edition, we are going to talk about at least 60 people have been killed in attacks in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, with the Allied Democratic Forces, the ADF, rebel group suspected of being responsible. The head of the civil society group in the volatile Beni region reported the deaths on Tuesday, adding that the nature of the attack are retaliatory given the increased attacks by the Congolese government against the rebels over the past few months. More details with Nahla Ibrahim.
Militants have killed more than 60 people over 5 days of attacks on villages in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Local authorities said on Tuesday that the assailants, believed to be rebels from the Allied Democratic Forces (ADF), have targeted at least 5 villages, and the offensive was still ongoing. The attacks have continued unabated as ADF militants have lashed out at local civilians in retaliation for the military campaigns. Dozens of militias are active in Eastern Congo, legacies of 2 regional wars between 1996 and 2003. The routinely fight Congolese security forces and another competing for land, political influence, and mineral resources. The ADF, which was created in Uganda before moving to Eastern Congo in the 1990s, has been blamed for thousands of deaths since 2013, many in the middle of the night massacres carried out with the machetes and hatchets.
With the African countries on the front lines of the climate change risks, the Ministry of International Cooperation is ramping up support through the new country strategies that mainstream the climate change adaptation and resilience throughout its operations. The Minister of International Cooperation, Dr. Anya Mashat, held a high-level meeting with a delegation led by Vice President of the African Development Bank, AFDB, to harness the cooperation and to enhance the regional climate change action through the innovative climate financing.
African Development Bank Vice President Kevin Kiraki is leading a delegation to Egypt, the host country for this year's United Nations Climate Change Conference 2022, for exploratory talks on how the bank and Egypt can collaborate to make the COP27 a truly breakthrough event for people in the planet. Kiraki said it was essential to start early engagements with Egypt and key stakeholders as well as partners. The bank's engagement with Egypt will advance the Glasgow to Sharm el-Sheikh work program and global goal on adaptation with a view of securing a safe and resilient future for the planet. Also on the table will be the establishment of a platform for dialogue with African countries on developing a common position on climate change and further amplifying Africa's voice at COP27. Vice President Kiraki will meet representatives of the World Bank Group, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the International Monetary Fund, the European Investment Bank, the Islamic Development Bank, the United Nations agencies to explore a common approach for building upon the Glasgow Climate Pact as well as issues and priorities specific to COP27 in support of the government of Egypt. The African Bank's delegation will additionally discuss ways to showcase Egypt's pioneering initiatives for advancing green transformation, including the recently launched 2050 National Climate Change Strategy, and how these can be replicated in the developing countries, including in Africa. The African Development Bank has been a strategic partner for Egypt's mitigation and adaptation efforts, providing $1 billion in loans and investment between 2007 and 2021.
And moving on with our program, where South African adventure cyclists Ron Rutland and Adam Non are already on their way to the Auckland in New Zealand to deliver the whistle for the opening match of the Rugby World Cup 2021, playing 2022, and to raise money for the charity. The journey of 16,500 kilometers started in Tokyo and will end in New Zealand before the match between South Africa and France. The two men will cycle through 14 countries across 210 days.
South African adventure cyclists Ron Rotland and Adam Nunn are on the way to Auckland in New Zealand to deliver the whistle for the opening match of the Rugby World Cup 2021 playing 2022 and to raise money for charity. For one of the cyclists, the motivation is to promote women's sports. The journey of the 16,500 kilometers started in Tokyo and will end in New Zealand before the match between South Africa and France. The two men will cycle through 14 countries across 210 days. The pair also aims to raise funds for the Child Fund Rugby, the principal charity partner of the Rugby World Cup 2021, by encouraging fans to sponsor a kilometre.
To shed more light on the issue of the climate in Egypt, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Gilan Abdelrazik, former Dean of Mass Media and Information Technology Faculty, Swiss University. Good day, Dr. Gilan.
Good evening to you and to all your audience.
Dr. Gilan, Egypt is ramping up its efforts for the upcoming COP27 summit slated to be held in November in the resort city of Sharm el-Sheikh. The summit is set to witness actually a constructive dialogue with the aim of producing ambitious results and developing initiatives that build on the outcomes of last year's Glasgow summit. What's your take on that?
As you know, that last COP26 was held in UK, and it will be held by Egypt on November, as you mentioned, will be COP27, and this is a great opportunity for Egypt. That means that all the world will be focusing on Egypt and the role of Egypt, how we are adapting with this important issue, which is the climate change due to the increase of carbon dioxide and due to the industrial factors and the revolution of industry, which is affect us, our health and our life, and also this will lead to the lack of water and lack of food in the coming years. So that means that Egypt is working hard in this issue very much, and that means that we are going to be the lead in the area of Africa towards how to adapt with the climate change. And there are important issues that are being discussing within even the civil society with the government. As you know, that His Excellency President Fattah Sisi is caring about this issue too much, and also there are orders to all the ministers to cooperate with each other in order to proceed and to prepare well for this important conference, which will be taken very soon, very quickly, months after 6 or 7 months. And also there are a lot of projects that Egypt is proceeding with that.
Indeed. Dr. Gilan, speaking about Egypt, what are the effects of the climate change on the coastal region in the country? And is it noticeable that the climate change has had a hand in changing the patterns of the weather or its intensity?
Yes, as you know, due to the temperature as rises, various impacts are changing aspects of our climate. Hotter summers, as you see, cold winters, as we see that there are change in degrees. Sometimes you feel very cold, and you never. For example, we know that we are modest in our weather. All of a sudden, we find that there's a change in the weather. And also this rising ocean temperatures make melting polar ice, increase storm activity. These go beyond the mere changes in the weather. There are changes on the weather. Unfortunately, that the scientists, approximately 97% of scientists agree that humans cause climate change, and we are the one who are making this climate change. That means that as an individual, not only the developed countries, but also as the habits of the individuals, we also cause of this this carbon dioxide and the fossil fuels and deforestation. We also should change our attitude and change our behavior in order that we can adapt with this climate change.
Yes. Dr. Gilan, Egypt aspires to be the voice of Africa in the upcoming COP27 summit and highlight the impact of the climate change on the continent. What's your take on that?
Yes, as it was already been announced by Egypt, by the Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry, that Egypt will be the voice of Africa in COP27 because we are on half of Africa. As you know, that we are the key to the heart of Africa. As also Africa has been negatively impacted by climate change despite being the least contributor to polluting emissions. As all African countries together are responsible for no more than 4% of the global emission of carbon dioxide.
Yes.
Also, this continent, the African continent, is receiving inadequate financing to cope with the climate amid, as its limited ability to obtain the modern technology. The African countries do not have the modern technology that's needed in order to adapt with this negativity of the climate change. Also, I should draw attention that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi at COP26 mentioned that, and he said that the developed countries should fulfill their pledge to provide 100 billion annually to developing countries to address the effects of climate change. Also because that, you know, that all the developed countries also is focusing on Africa, as this is considered to be the green continent, and it is wealthy with resources, and they are of course putting consideration on it that they can make benefit of it. So it's better to be Egypt. As you know, we are the key to the heart of Africa.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Gilan, also Egypt has vast investment opportunities in renewable energy projects in the country. Would you please elaborate on such opportunities?
Yes, as we have projects, mega projects, which is one at the New High Dam project, where it is they're establishing a solar energy complex in Bamban. It's near Aswan, to increase the share of renewable energy sources. To become 20% of the electric energy produced by 2022, this year, and by 2035 it will be increased to be 42%. Also, we have the Zayed Bay. It's a project, a great project, also along the Red Sea coast to generate electricity from wind energy. Also, we have a project, a great project. It is developed. It's called the photovoltaic project, and this is they can now be seen in cities, on rooftops of schools, the supermarkets, parking lots, hotels, and government buildings. And this project was awarded by the British Energy Institute to have low carbon, and we have been awarded 2020. Also, one of the most important things also that there will be a hub green at the Suez Canal economic zone. In order that all the logistics and all the plants there will be producing green products. That means that we are going to start to have a green industry in order to save our life. Also, at the level of the individual, now we are preparing for green by start to change the cars to be fueled by gas, by natural gas instead of petrol.
Yes.
Because this will be also very benefit for to adapt with the climate change. Also, we are in Egypt. They are trying to also to convert street lights. Street lights to be LED, which also will save lighting systems. A lot of projects that Egypt is booming in it in order to adapt with the climate change. We have the solar-powered surface water pumping, also stations for irrigation. So that means that we are on all levels of at all levels of the different fields. We are starting to use the renewable energy. This will help us to adapt with the climate change and to change it from negativity to be positive.
Yes.
One of the things also important, there also will be a project, there is a pilot project to convert waste into electricity, and this will be taking place in Fayoum.
Yes.
So Egypt really is making a lot of effort in order to adapt with this climate change.
Indeed. Dr. Gilan, the universality of the climate change has prompted Egypt to implement a sustainable development model centered on increasing the green projects to 50% by 2025 and 100% by 2030. Would you please elaborate on Egypt's plan to achieve these goals?
Yes, Egypt also starting to make a green bond, and this green bond will attract investors in order to invest in green.
Yes.
This procedures has been taken place since September 2020. Once Minister Mohammed Ma'is, the Minister of Finance, mentioned that Egypt had issued the first green bond in the Middle East and North Africa at a value of $750 million.
Indeed.
And this bond will offer to investors a 5.25% yield, and this will place Egypt on the map of sustainable finance. Also, this means that also will be leading, and we are matching the sustainable development, which we are part of in it, as we signed that with the United Nations.
Yes.
As the revenue of these bonds will be used for financing green projects and achieving sustainable development in the field of clean transport and renewable energy. So this means that also we will let people know our experiments and our trials and our projects in this issues, so that we are going to be the leader in the green development.
Indeed, Dr. Gilan Abdelrazek, former Dean of Mass Media and Information Technology Faculty, Suez University. Thank you very much for your very precious input, Dr. Gilan. And with that, our radio viewers, we come to the end of this edition of Africa Today. I hope you have enjoyed it. Until tomorrow with another crew. It's goodbye.